Hello, everyone, from the Metaverse, from YouTube. Uh, it's a pleasure to be here today and an honor to receive our colleagues from NIRI Association, CEO Matt Brush, and INARI Association, Max Zimmerman, NIRI from US and INARI from Mexico. For us, it's really a pleasure because it represents the best things that we've been doing at IBRI in the last few months. So for Brazilian professionals, I understand that is a way to be global, to be digital, and to be together. I really appreciate NIRI to open the doors for us, and we're going to talk today about the new strategic collaboration proposal that we have together with NIRI. Also, we're going to have here from INARI, Max talking about his experience and the Mexican professionals with NIRI due to this strategic collaboration. We are doing this first time in the Metaverse, and to do this, we have here with us Thiago Iac from Meta Markets. I will introduce him. Before, I would like to uh, talk about Abrasca and the support, all the support that we've been receiving, especially from Fernanda Claudino. So with that, I will forward to Thiago. Thiago, please do the introduction about the technology. Thank you.
Yes, Rodrigo. Hi. Thank you. Thank you, Rodrigo. And congratulations to all the speakers here. It's very important for us. And thank you for all watching us from Zoom or from our YouTube channel, and from our audience in the Metaverse. I'm Yak, founder of MetaMarkets Space. And MetaMarket Space is a platform created for the capital market and corporate events, supporting shareholder meetings and immersive spaces with the advantage of the metaverse and the blockchain technologies. So I'm glad to be here in MetaMarkets to host this important talk provided by NIRI, INARI, and by IBRI. And you are all welcome to join us directly from MetaMarkets Space. Just scroll the page and you find the available rooms to join the event. And you can also redeem your NFT, your certificated NFT by the end of the event. In the same room or in the same page, you can redeem your NFT to as a proof of participation in this event. And that's it. Thank you, Rodrigo. Have a great talk.
Thank you, Thiago. Well, we have here today a very special person, Matt Brush from NIRI, because as investor relation professionals in the last 20 years, we've been always looking into NIRI. Especially, I had the opportunity to go at NIRI events, annual events. Is really special. I had the opportunity to, watch presentations like Bill Clinton, or Vincent Oxley. So it was really a nice experience from my, let's say, historical life. I have this in my heart. Also, I think USA experience can give for Brazilian investor relation professionals a book of tools and also, let's say, a strategic view that normally we have to learn in Brazil. So we, as Brazilian investor relation professionals, we take most of our time doing operating stuffs, delivering sometimes thousands of pages to the regulator in Brazil, to the regulator in US, and sometimes we miss the opportunity to talk about strategic ideas to do, let's say, the beauty of the investor relations profession. So with that, I would like to introduce Matt Brush. Thank you to accept the invitation to talk about the new strategic collaboration agreement that we have, IBRI and NIRI, because that I think will develop the Brazilian IR professional, and it will be a good time to exchange experience with, American professionals and Brazilian professionals. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Rodrigo, and thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here. I'm pleased to be here with my colleague Max as well from INARI. It's great to be with you in the Metaverse. I have not done an event in the Metaverse before, so this is a first, and just delighted to be doing that. I've enjoyed meeting some of you over the years at the NIRI annual conference. So I've been on the NIRI staff for 15 years and have met some of you as you've attended our annual conference and over the years, and really have enjoyed getting to know some of you through that time. And I know we've at NIRI have had folks attend conferences there as well. And so, we absolutely appreciate and enjoy, the sort of special partnership that we've already had. But we'll talk today a little bit more about the new agreement that we've just recently signed to sort of even become a little bit closer with IBRI. So very happy to be working together. Partnerships like this with IBRI, with INARI, we've got several partnerships with organizations around the world. And in our view, it really just helps both of our organizations advance and elevate the profession, the investor relations profession. And really that's what we are all about at NIRI. Our core mission is helping members, helping investor relations professionals do their job better, and helping elevate the profession for everyone. And so, again, this kind of an agreement really fosters that mission. So I think it would make sense for me, in my mind, to just spend a few minutes talking a little bit about NIRI to make sure everybody in the call here understands, the organization. So that'll help when we start talking about some of the benefits of the agreement. So let's move to that second slide. That's about NIRI. And so this tells you, a little bit about the organization, what we're all about here. I'm not going to do the thing where I read the slide to you, but I think it's helpful for you to understand just a little bit about the history, right? So NIRI effectively created the profession of investor relations in 1969, and has over those years really sort of codified and developed the standards around investor relations and what it means to practice investor relations. And so we are the largest global professional association for investor relations, and you can see there we've got 1,500 some odd publicly held companies. Why don't we move to the next slide, slide number 3. This talks about our NIRI mission, which I mentioned just a minute ago to you. It's really advancing and elevating the profession of investor relations. These are some of the things that are actually coming out of our new strategic plan, which we'll be announcing here soon. But there's our vision. So NIRI wants to be a leader in providing education and support for the IR community. Let's move, and it's a growing community as well. So let's move to slide number 4. We at NIRI have several core values. We value our collaborative community. We really foster this idea of operating with integrity and trust. We've got a code of ethics that all NIRI members agree to when they join, and then annually when they renew, will attest that they intend to continue to operate within that code of ethics. We're all about inclusion. We'll talk about that here in a moment. we are also about thought leadership. So again, really our intent is to advocate for the profession and provide the tools, resources, and education that IR professionals need to do their jobs well. Let's move to this slide number 5. So I did mention this idea of NIRI focusing on diversity inclusion. That's something that we're absolutely committed to. We view the diversity as something that really strengthens the profession, strengthens the organization and the profession writ large. So, where NIRI is welcoming regardless of your race, color, religion, sex, gender, etc. Again, we view diversity is something that we focus on when we're looking at folks that are in the boardroom. So, for instance, if you look at our board of directors, we try to model that diversity. We do that when we look for volunteers to help with projects and with leadership positions within the organization. And so again, it's something that we take very, very seriously, and in the idea that by focusing on this, we'll really strengthen the organization and the profession as a writ large. Let's move to that next slide, and that is about this agreement and really sort of our NIRI Collaborates program. So this is what we've termed the NIRI Collaborates program, which is all about reaching out to organizations like IBRI and NIRI and many others, where we partner to work on programs that sort of on a shared way advance both of our missions, right? We view these programs as really key to promoting awareness of investor relations around the world and really helping to move that standard in IR excellence forward. And so this program, and in our view, makes it easier for IBRI members and other global IR society members to access things like the Investor Relations Charter Credential, what we've termed the IR Competency Suite, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and all the other sort of educational and informational resources that NIRI brings to bear. We know, and it's important, I think, I mentioned the Investor Relations Charter, just sort of an interesting fact. So next week we'll be announcing the results of the biennial NIRI and Korn Ferry IR Compensation Survey. And what was interesting, and you'll see this in the report next week, is that the IRC credential is now the top professional credential for senior level investor relations professionals. And that's new. That's a new data point. We were pleased to see that. The IRC program was really only launched at this point 6 years ago in 2016. And it was and is the only IR professional credential in the United States. And so we've seen good growth since we've done the launch. We've got, I think more than something like 230 investor relations professionals have earned the credential in those 6 years, and they're in 10 countries around the world, including, I might say, IR professionals like Max and NIRI. So he'll be talking here in a minute, but we're delighted that Max has earned his IRC credential. Let's go to the last slide, and this is really the slide that talks all about the benefits of the collaboration. And so again, we're really happy to share these tools and resources with IBRI members. Here are some of the specific tools and resources. So the first is IR Update. This is our flagship magazine. It's a quarterly digital publication that that IBRI members will have access to now. We'll, IBRI members can attend NIRI webinars. We typically have, something on the order of 10, 15 or so webinars every year, and so IBRI members will have access to those. IBRI members can access what we've called the NIRI Virtual IRC Lounge, and so these are periodic sessions in English and Spanish that are both online and also in person at our annual conference. And these are sessions that that will sort of enable investor relations professionals to connect with IR experts. And so to the extent that IBRI members are interested in participating in that, that's something that they can do now. IBRI members will have access to the NIRI resource libraries. And these are online resources on the NIRI website at niri.org. There are online resources there, and they're on key IR topics, such as sustainability, ESG, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Hot topics like these, as well as just bedrock, investor relations evergreen topics that that investor relations, professionals need every day to be able to do their jobs better, as well as a variety of sample documents and more. IBRI members will also be able to purchase the IR Body of Knowledge book at the discounted NIRI member rate. And that's an important book. It's a primary resource for the IRC program. It's based on the IRC competency framework. And that is something that really codified the various 10 different knowledge domains that make up the IR profession. So when we were developing the IRC credential, we went out and did a scientific study of investor relations professionals, what they do on a day-to-day basis, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, and year to year, and really did a deep dive into that. And out of that research and study, developed this IRC competency framework, which really, like I say, codifies the 10 different subject matter areas that IR professionals need to understand and have experience in order to be successful in the profession. So that's an important book. IBRI is now also, this is new, IBRI is now an approved, what we call an approved PDU provider, and PDU are professional development units, or what you would think of as continuing education credits. So for IBRI programs that are education-based, IBRI now can grant IRC credential holders continuing education credits, or PDUs, and those they need in order to maintain the IRC credential on a year-to-year basis. So that's an important development. And then finally, the IR competency suite. So IBRI members can now access NIRI's online learning series, and these are 10 education modules, online education modules. They're based on that IRC competency framework. And so you can take those modules sort of on a one-off basis, or you can take the entire suite of 10 modules. And it's really up to you, depending on your specific, perhaps, skill gaps or your unique interests. You can take, one or more or all of those. And that's something that's now available to IBRI members as well. So those are the specific benefits. So we're delighted to be working together more closely with IBRI. And with that, I'd like to turn it back to Rodrigo.
Oh, really? Thank you, Matt. Impressive, because I think when I became CEO at IBRI, one of the questions from the board and also one of my targets would be to support in development of the IR professionals in Brazil. And you came with a suite of knowledge for the Brazilian investor relations professionals that I think is very important, because from my experience, this kind of professional, it's like IT, it's like a digital professional. You always have to update yourself, because if you look today, we have this sustainability, so important, all the sustainability stuff that's inside the company that you have to follow, that you have to understand, to talk to the investors, and to build a great report. So every time you see a new, let's say, knowledge team, you have to read, you have to understand, you have to get benchmark, to exchange information. So I think this is very special for us. So With that, I think I will forward to Max Zimmerman, because Max from INARI, we've been talking before, and INARI got this experience in Mexico to have this connection with NIRI. So that's why we came together here to talk a little bit about how was the experience, how is it going, what could be the benefits, and if you want to talk about your, the IR professional in Mexico, also feel free to make this connection. Thank you, Max, to come.
Thank you, Rodrigo, and also thank you, Max, for the mentions. It's great to be here. It's great to be in the metaverse. I think this is going to be the future of meetings going forward. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about who we are at INARI and what we've done together with NIRI, who have been was basic for our I would say creation and a lot of our content. So they've helped us a lot, and we really appreciate that. So talking about INARI, we are a nonprofit investor relations association, and we were founded in 2018 with the same purpose as you guys, to raise awareness of the IR practice, share best practices and insights among our back then 60 plus members, which include around half of the companies of the Mexican IBC, which is the Mexican index, which is made up of 35 companies. So INARI was founded by myself, together with Azul Argüelles and Enrique Gonzalez, IROs of other companies. Back then, Kimberly Clark and Genoma Lab. Now Enrique is the VP of Investor Relations and Communications at Cox Energy America, and Azul has now moved on to be the CFO at Southlight Capital, which is a private equity fund. And the truth is that we did this organization because there used to be an organization in Mexico, but back in 2009, 2010, it also, along with many other companies, went bankrupt and stopped doing activities. So we do investor relations, and we have done investor relations for over 10 years, each one of us. So we wanted to do something in order to lessen or to shorten the curve that a new investor relations might have, which maybe doesn't have the experience that we have, or so many years in the market. And here we are, 4 years later. We've already had our fourth anniversary. So we're very happy to be here. And what we do is we normally organize a series of quarterly conferences, social gatherings, and our annual conference, which is also coming up in November, which is our prime networking event. And as NIRI has always told us, networking is at least half of the work that we have to do. So that networking part, even in the pandemic, we've tried to keep alive through conference rooms and through calls, through wine tastings, and through some other activities which have worked well. But as we all know, it's not the same as being together face to face. So I wanted to start off to tell you some of the things that we've done together. Basically, when we came together in May in 2018, we had previously also talked to NIRI about bylaws and about maybe having a chapter of NIRI in Mexico. But given that they're only a US organization, they helped us a lot in some of the, I think, the big things that we should look out for, and we should keep in mind when doing our bylaws. So the truth is that they've been present with us from day one. So we started off when we did with a bell ringing event in May of 2018, and that was great. And then in our first annual event in November, and through our relationship with NIRI, we were able to secure the attendance of Mickey Foster, which was the, I think it still continues to be the investor relations vice president of the FedEx Corporation, to have one of the big guys that has a lot of experience in investor relations in one of these Fortune 500 companies, talk to us about how they do investor relations much more global and much bigger than we had imagined, and that was great. That was also we put together our board of directors, which we have representatives from different companies that are in different industries in Mexico, all of which have a good amount of experience too. And the way we developed INARI is to have a low or a relatively low cost for IR practitioners, but also have our sponsors. So our sponsors are important for us, and that was one of the things that we learned back from the other organization back in 2009. They were only charging companies, and when companies couldn't pay, they ran out of money. So we decided to do things a little bit different, and we've had the luck of being with some great sponsors, such as Bolsa Mexicana de Valores, such as IR Strat, which is a local IR consultant. Also, Deloitte was a sponsor back then. Also a law firm here in Mexico, and some others, including Bank of New York Mellon for ADRs and all the services you need for having your company public. And it was in 2019 when we partnered officially with NIRI, the way you recently, Rodrigo, signed the partnership. And this was at our annual conference. So Gary was able to join us, Gary LeBranch, which was NIRI's former CEO and president. He also participated in the annual event, talking about the future of IR, based on NIRI's think tank, which is some great articles or white papers that NIRI puts together, after consulting with a lot of their members of how things are going to go forward, also partnering with very interesting people to write these. We also were joined with the former head of Mexico Central Bank and Mexican Tax Authority, and we were able to get some very interesting people talking at our conference also. And in 2020, we were also, because of NIRI, we were able to secure or to have on our list of speakers Debbie Hancock, the senior vice president of Hasbro, for investor relations, and talking about IR and the new normal. So that was also a great conference that we were able to have. And as Gary mentioned, we have since 2019 been offering the IRC certification, which the truth is, if you have more than 5 years IR experience and you have the opportunity to get your hands on the book, on the NIRI book of knowledge, that is basically all you need to make the test. You only need a test location. Unfortunately, there was already one in Mexico, so I decided to be the spearhead there and certified myself as an IRC. It's been I think 4 years now. Since then, I've actually already renewed with my PUs that Gary was mentioning, and since then we've also had another member of INARI also certify himself as IRC, and we were also fortunate enough to sell a good amount of the books that we had from NIRI, because the truth is that for people that are starting off in investor relations, and even people that have been doing this for a while, it's a great refreshment of the knowledge that you need, and what the job title means, and what you have to do in a day-to-day activities, and also of course the most important ones, which are the strategic side. Also, we've participated in NIRI's virtual IRC lounge for IRC holders and also for future IRC holders. NIRI holds these webinars, and we've been participating in some of them. So one of them was the best practices to demonstrate the value and the value of IR and collaborations, in a panel titled "Best Practices to Demonstrate the Value of IR." And we were able to have some investor relations from some of the large companies in Mexico. It was 4 or 5 of us, and that was also very interesting. And we've also done some other participations in this in the virtual IRC lounge, having to do with ESG and some other things, which Iman, which I'm sure is on the call from NIRI, has helped us. Thank you, Iman and Matt, for always taking this into consideration. So I think that's basically what I wanted to mention. That's a lot. NIRI has helped us a lot since our inception and has continued to support us, also through their members and through their active members, which are happy to participate in these calls. It used to be more complicated to bring down speakers from the US to Mexico, back before Zoom. But nowadays it's also easy to organize a call with someone senior at one of these companies that can give your members a lot of insight. So I would also like to thank Matt and Iman for how much they've helped us and for our continued collaboration. We normally keep in touch and know that any way we can help them, they can also give us a call. And we're also very happy now, Rodrigo, with your invitation, and also getting to know you and your team, that if you ever need something or want to consult anything with us, we would be happy to do so. Thank you, Rodrigo.
Thank you, Max. Well, I think this is really a special day because after that we're gonna have a lot of opportunities to be together. I already, invited both Matt and Max to our next event next year, that we have our international IBRI event in Brazil. You could be in presence, could be on video, but the point is, it's also a good opportunity to exchange information. I'm learning a lot here today, so what we can do, to enhance the investor relations profession in Brazil. One thing about IBRI, it's the 25-year anniversary this year. It's very special. So one of the things that IBRI made for the Brazilian professionals was to formalize the investor relation professional in Brazil. So it used to be, informal, and IBRI, work hard to do that. We also have our committees. The committee is sustainability, the technical committee, that we work together with the Brazilian Stock Exchange. We also work together with the CVM, the Brazilian SEC, in a sense to develop the capital markets. That's always the main target. We also work a lot with Abrasca. So Abrasca, is supporting IBRI a lot this year, especially this year. I've been at Abrasca either for many years. Abrasca is a Brazilian Association of Public Companies, and we think we can go together to develop the capital markets in Brazil. One thing that really changed our, let's say, our view in Brazil, it was during the pandemic period, because especially us from Brazil, it's very common to have a lot of travels. So different from, let's say, the American IR professionals, normally you are, in a very, let's say, in a very good market for investors. We also have in Brazil, especially in São Paulo. Also, we have in Europe, okay, especially in London, but other places, And the point is that the IR executive in Brazil used to travel a lot. And when we finally found that we could do this, let's say, very special job from home, was really a unique moment, okay? And for the companies that were initially or already ready for the digital mindset, what would be the digital mindset? Or if I work in the cloud, I don't need to go to the office, okay? If I work in the cloud and I have my Zoom app, I don't need to go to the investor. If I have today, like the Metaverse from here, Meta Markets, I can do a meeting or an IR event inside the Metaverse. The point, it's not only about the Metaverse. It's not only about share experience. The really, what I think is unique is the mindset. When the executive knows that we can be everywhere, we can be everywhere that we want. So Matt talked that is his first experience at the Metaverse. For me, it's not beyond that, it's maybe my third or fourth experience. I used to play, PlayStation some years ago, and sometimes you see, a similar world, this game world. But after that, we've been talking today that we just received the information, from Bloomberg that a new equipment is coming from Mark Zuckerberg. And this new equipment will give another level of experience inside the metaverse. And that is very special because if you look in 5-10 years, the IR executive will have all the tools to do all the meetings inside the metaverse, no problem. Well, the point is always that you have to learn, you develop your knowledge, you test, you do some kind of experience like we are having here, and then you can apply. This is the digital mindset. Is a way to think about the new stuffs, new technologies, innovation. You don't need to, let's say, to get the most important event that you have to do and try first. So that's really unique when you do that. So I realized that I was in, let's say, 2000, I think was 1 year ago, we were still at home. I received a video call from an investor in California, and he told me that he would have to build his model again because his bank, his fund, won't enable him to access the information inside the bank. And I was thinking, whoa, that's really different because imagine in 2, 3, 6 months, this fund will have to be ready to be from home because he will lose competitiveness. So to be competitive as an IR executive or to be competitive as a company, you must understand and learn and try all the new technologies that you see. No matter if it's blockchain, if it's metaverse, or if it's, the cloud. But what is important is when you talk about, like Matt mentioned here, diversity. Imagine if you today have to reach all the generations, all the public, all the diversity, you're gonna be in the Instagram, in the TikTok, in the internet, in the email. I heard the other day in the traditional mail system, it's it's different. But today, if you receive a letter, in the very traditional way, you're gonna open and read carefully, different from receiving a mail. I heard that, and it's true, because no matter is the way, but the point is that you don't have to be, let's say, in one or two channels. You, as an investor relation, as a professional to communicate, about the strategy of the company, you must be in all the channels. In a podcast, I recently heard in our this magazine in Brazil, the IR magazine, about a podcast from Braskem. I was very happy because I could hear 5-10 minutes from the podcast from the CEO of Braskem inside the Spotify. Whoa, this is different, This is different because if you like Spotify, you're gonna hear the CEO. If you don't like to read, the earnings release, we don't know what CEO has to say. So the important thing about these channels is because they sometimes the young will prefer to watch your video in the TikTok or watch your video on YouTube, as we are here. We are here broadcasting from Zoom, from YouTube, from Metaverse, especially. And in the end, this video will be recorded in YouTube. You can watch, discuss forever. And this is another thing, we are recording for the people that are today working or sometimes traveling. They cannot watch right now. But the point is that the information is important because you have to be up to date, and sometimes that is not in the same timing, So that's why it's important to be in all the channels. So I think Brazil, we have this opportunity because we have, let's say, a very digital investor. This is important either because if you look to the companies, there are a lot of job to do, a lot of tasks to do to be digital. But our customer, the investor, the retail investor, is already with a good mobile phone, reading everything that comes, or watching, or listening. And this is very good because we already have all the society digital, so we need to use this capability to do investor relations. So that's why what we think at the IBRI. I would like also to have the opportunity here to congratulate Marina, our event and communication director, to help on this event. We also would like to congratulate Francisco from INARI that supported us, and also Iman from NIRI, because this is really something that you can go together and build a new relationship and more events after this event today. I think we have some questions. I will talk about the questions, okay? Oh, there is one question about, well, something that's different. Thiago mentioned that we have today the opportunity to have an NFT of the event. Thiago, could you please explain a little bit about these new certificates, let's say?
Yes, sure. The NFT certifies the presence, the participation in this event, and it's very easy to redeem your NFT. You can redeem it by clicking in a space in the room, and also in a link to the page, or to our landing page. Uh, the robot will have a chatbot that will explain about how to create your wallet to redeem your NFT, and it's very easy. And then we can share in the LinkedIn as a title of participation here, as a certificate of participation here.
Thank you, Thiago. Well, there is a question here from the audience. How we can join IBRI or NIRI or INARI, let's say. I will add this, but because it's for 3 of us, as a partner. Well, in Brazil, especially, if you are in Brazil, you can connect to IBRI, through email or website, and tell your proposal. We've been doing a lot of partnerships in Brazil. So we normally do a kind of agreement, because we think every time that you want to see development of the capital markets in Brazil, we're going to be together. So please come and talk to IBRI, through our channels. You can connect us. Luis is there, or João, and we can help you on that, okay? And I'd open to Max or Matt if you want to talk a bit about your partnerships in both in US and Mexico. Thank you.
Absolutely, this is Matt. So if you're talking, when you say partner, is that sort of like sponsorship? Is that what I should be thinking? Sponsorship? Or if it's regarding sponsorship, absolutely, you can do that through NIRI. We have a gentleman on staff named Aaron Eggers, who manages all of our partner relationships and sponsorships. And Aaron would be delighted to talk with you and see how NIRI can sort of help you, how we can help each other. You can find NIRI's Aaron's contact information on the NIRI website. If you go to NIRI.org and then click the Contact Us link at the top of the page, you can see Aaron's information there. He's at AEGGERS@NIRI.org. Aaron would be happy to talk with you. If you're just interested in joining NIRI as a member, you can obviously do that as well. We've got a variety of membership options, and those are all available there through the NIRI website. If that didn't answer your question, I'm also happy to just chat with you directly to see what you're interested in doing. You can just drop me a note at mbrusch@niri.org.
Thank you, Matt. Max, please, if you want to talk about the partnerships in Mexico, feel free.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Well, so we have different partnerships, both with a stock exchange, the Bolsa Mexicana de Valores. We also work with BNY Mellon. We also work with HR ratings, with BTG Pactual as a bank, and many times they also help us with speakers. And as I was mentioning, we're also with a buffet of lawyers, and some other smaller suppliers such as translators, and others that offer other services such as IR Strat, which is an IR consultant. So the truth is that many times we have these sponsors which help us, but in our chats, and also when people need advice, we talk about we can also recommend people that we've worked with or so forth. But I would say that those are the main ones.
Thank you. We have another question here about something very interesting that I've been hearing also. I'm really working from Europe, so there is an association here, the European Issuers, and they mentioned that they work very hard, and we do also in Brazil with Abrasca and IBRI about the small companies. Então, the question is, how can small companies work together with digital IRs? I would say that for me at IBRI, the most important thing about this, when you talk about small companies, I know there is a big difference between small companies in Brazil, small companies in US, small companies in Mexico. But in the end, I think this is one of the, let's say, challenge is with, let's say, a very restricted budget, you have to do a lot. So sometimes it's that. And the way to do that sometimes is automation, because that's why at IBRI and also at Abrasca, we've been searching for solutions. So Capital Markets Lab, it's at Abrasca, you can have this kind of solution like we see here today, Meta Markets. It's part of the Capital Markets Lab. But also we are seeing other kinds of solutions like Workiva, solutions for cybersecurity, solutions for, let's say, the new pains that normally the investor relation profession we have. So small caps, I would say, the big opportunities on digital. So you can have with sometimes, let's say, not a big budget, with a restricted budget, you can serve better the investor community. So I think in terms of the way that we support small companies in Brazil. Please, Matt, if you wanted to comment about the small caps, how you deal at NIRI, feel free.
Well, so that's a great question, and so obviously NIRI. I mean, I'll go back to the the vast resources NIRI has. I mean, so NIRI's member annual dues are really very small in relation to the sort of benefits that are available through NIRI. So that's a plug and a pitch for NIRI, of course. So I would encourage all small cap investor relations professionals to be NIRI members as sort of a baseline, because that isn't a huge investment. I was in investor relations for 10 years in 3 small cap companies, so I understand the question very well because I lived through that for a decade. And I mean, just sort of beyond the resources that NIRI provides, I mean, my thinking, my strategy always with that question and that issue was really just focusing my efforts where I felt like I would get the greatest benefit for the time spent. And it just generally always came down to investor targets, reaching out to new investors, and then working with the sell side to generate interest in the sell side. Because at the end of the day, those are the the 2 primary audiences. Those are where you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck, as we say in the U.S., but where you get the most benefit for the time spent. Looking for and pitching to new investors and working and trying to generate interest on the sell side. And those 2 things, and as you say, Rodrigo, there are tools that can help you do these things, right? And for not necessarily that aren't necessarily incredibly expensive. So that's where I would focus my efforts.
Thank you, Matt. Max, if you want to comment, please feel free.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Yes, small caps are important in Mexico because you have 35 companies which are in the index, and we have over 70 members, and we only have around half the index. So the truth is that an important part of our members are small caps. I also work in a small cap. I've gone from a from a mega to a large to a small. So I'll sum up a little bit of the different activities that go on. However, I would mention that I think they are the ones that can take most advantage of what we do, because it was really designed for them in order to lower the learning curve from 3 years maybe to 1 year is what we normally think about. However, when these people that maybe are new in IR and have recently been left with a task to do IR, when they join INARI, there's a lot of resources for them in order to know what investor relations is, what the right suppliers are, what they have to do, what they shouldn't do, and all of that comes with the interaction between our members. So the truth is that it works very well for them, and they've also been some happy members. So it's definitely also something that we look into, and I think it's one of the main reasons for INARI's existence.
Thank you, Max. Well, I think we answered the questions. I would like to, to tell that today really we can say that we have our first event at the Metaverse. So we think we can have much more. In next year, I hope to see again Max and Matt with us for the annual event in São Paulo, but also maybe in the Metaverse or in the Zoom, YouTube. But the point is that we really appreciate your presence, your time, and all what we learned with you today. So I will give you the floor, Matt, to give final comments, and after that, Max, feel free.
Well, thanks, Rodrigo. It was just an honor and delightful to be with you here today. I would encourage everybody to participate in all the resources that are now available through the agreement with IBRI and as well with INARI. And oh, by the way, you're welcome to come to the NIRI conference as well. I'm hoping to get to both of your conferences. NIRI has our conference in Chicago, June 6th through 8th. So everyone's invited to that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. And also, it's been a pleasure, Rodrigo and Matt, and collaborating together. And I think the more we share knowledge between all the investor relations societies between the different countries, something that NIRI has helped us do a lot in their event. They also host a dinner for all the international associations. It's great, and also feel free if you have any doubts, any questions, or you need anything from us, please don't hesitate to reach out. And also welcome to our conference, which is going to be towards the end of November. We're still setting a date because of some changes that there was recently, but it will be a pleasure. I look forward to talking with you too soon.
Thank you, Max. Well, I would like to, just say that thank you all to be here with us today. More than 50 executives today with us, or through the Metaverse, or Zoom, or YouTube. IBRI is really, happy to host this event. I would like to give a special congratulations to the Meta Markets to establish this connection for us. With that, I think we can finish the event. So thank you all to be with us today at IBRI.